sharing our favorite Disney restaurants, plus asking Alexa a new Disney question. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of the podcast. Want to make sure you guys know that our sponsor for today's episode is, once again, Theme Park Chuckle. Go to themeparkchuckle.com, grab yourself a funny Disney-based shirt or two, such as this classy Let's Get Trash t-shirt featuring everyone's favorite festival dining table, the Disney Trash Can. Grab yours today at themeparkchuckle.com. I am one of your hosts. I am Josh.
And I am his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard.
Oh, yes. And for those of you also just joining us, this is rated TV 14. So you younger viewers, make sure you have your parents' permission before watching this, even though we are 99.99999, lots of nines, % clean on this show. So yes, that's what we do. But yes, it's TV 14 rating, so we're looking forward to bringing you another great episode. G, what's the happenings? What's the latest? What's going on out there in the interwebs? What's happening with our socials? What's going on?
As of today, we have reached another milestone that we want to celebrate, which is, it was a goal of ours to get 1,000 on TikTok. We hit that, very excited about, but we celebrated that, I think, last episode. But we have now hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, and it's just such a great feeling to know this community is the best, as we always say.
Yes.
For those not following us yet on our, not yet following us on our socials, but I'll remind you, we are at BBT Magic Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And obviously, you guys know we are on either YouTube or Spotify. Technically, we're on both, but depending on how you are choosing to watch or listen to this. And we have a Facebook, of course, if anybody still uses that, I don't know. But just very, very exciting.
I'm thinking about building a new MySpace for us, because I'd like to.
Remember when Justin Timberlake bought that? Justin Timberlake bought MySpace.
Yeah, and he really did a lot with it.
Nothing happened. It just
he was doing it for music, but we don't need to talk about him because Disney doesn't have the Mickey Mouse Club on Disney Plus, and we don't need to talk about Justin Timberlake. Yeah, but true story.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, fun things, lots of fun things going on. So that's great. 1,000 followers on Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. I'm stoked about it. I didn't think that many people would like watching us. The other thing is, you said YouTube or Spotify, and I feel like even talking to my own daughter, she's like, I do prefer watching you guys on YouTube. I was like, I think you would have preferred not seeing my face. You see it anyway. But
it's funny you say that, because it is definitely a preference. When I rewatch, I always want to watch because, of course, we're going to scrutinize ourselves. And I do think maybe it is the brother-sister thing. Maybe it is because we worked hard on having a nice aesthetic of the podcast, that I do enjoy the visual. I think people that know us really enjoy the visual. But I also find that because even our sister Brianna said the same thing. She goes, no, I like watching you guys. But when I'm like, I like to also just listen to it back, because I want to hear, it's almost a little less biased for me to just be listening to us, because I'm not distracted by whatever the visual is. So I think when you're cleaning or you're driving, that obviously Spotify is a great option to just be able to do the audio version of it. But that's just my personal take on it.
No, that makes sense. Let's see here. What do we have on tap today? We have our main show topic, which we'll get to, but we also have another great edition of Asking Alexa Disney questions. So we can pop into that and take care of that. Hold on, let's see. And
we've got some Disney questions. Alexa, give us the goods. Alexa, give us the goods. We got some Disney questions.
Oh, yeah. Sorry if I was trailing off there for a second, so I had a little technical difficulty. I'm like, am I just rambling at this moment? Okay. I'm sorry for that mid-episode stroke I had, but we're all good now. I didn't smell burnt hair, and we're made it through unscathed. So with that, let's ask this AI thing some questions here. Actually, one question. We say questions. It's going to be one. Spoiler alert. this is how we operate on this show. It's
Yeah.
very low budget. And so
No
exactly.
budget.
So let's get in our question here. Alexa, how much does Walt Disney World make per day?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Disney World makes an average of $19.68 million per day.
Okay. It's weird for me. It's like it's a huge number. Okay, that is a huge number to make. But it also feels like is it big enough? I'm like, why do I feel like this is more? But if you take that over, let's call it near 20 million, you do the math or whatever, a year, that's like $7 billion or something. I want to say somewhere close to that. Am I right? So the math probably maths it's somewhere near 7 billion.
I mean, I'm good at math, but I'm not putting that.
Yeah, I
together.
think it's you Google me. Remember, I'm never right on this show anyway. If I get anywhere close, somebody put it in a comment, somebody praise me for something, but I want to say it's near like $7 billion. It's 6 point something, whatever else it will be. But that's a lot of money. I guess that's from theme park revenue. And, I don't know if that includes all like every single piece of revenue or if that's just ticket sales or how they factor. That's a big ass number.
It is, but it's also a question of, obviously we know that's not what they're netting. So it's like, what is the cost to run Disney in a day?
Operational cost?
That's also $19 million it said a day. Yeah.
Yeah. 19 point something million.
Yeah. 19. And we still don't have the money to redo the Figment ride. Come on, guys.
Like, yeah, you got to hit that 20 mil mark. It's really sticklers for that.
I guess.
Yeah. Bob Iger's like, I'm only sticking around until 2026 and we'll figure out who else is coming in here. So, yeah, if you want something, you better ask for it now. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
That's the other thing with us. We can talk about that in a later date or whatever and really dive into current, structure hierarchy at Disney. But people in control. I really do enjoy the personality of Josh D'Amaro. I really do like him as a person. I think he is that fun Disney, loves getting involved in things. He loves, being a part of the Disney family. I don't know that he's going to be necessarily the successor into the Iger kind of thing. Like Chapek kind of went, from that kind of position up to where Bob is. I just don't know if that's going to be it, but he has been filling in a lot. So kind of stay tuned for there's different things that he's at that Iger wasn't at, and he's kind of filling in for him. Yeah. So we'll see where that road leads to and eventually, but I don't know how I feel about that yet. I'm like, does he have the wherewithal for all parts of the company? I did meet him at San Diego Comic-Con years ago. It was during the masked up kind of episodes where you had to have a mask everywhere. And I was like, that's Josh D'Amaro. I can recognize him anywhere. I don't need that mask fooling nobody. But he was very, very, very nice. Yeah. So our main topic for the show this week. I know I'm excited about it. I know you're excited about it because we both like to eat. I'm the fat one in the family because I've got the gut, but the whole episode surrounds our favorite restaurants and we'll trail into our favorite bars. So we'll add a few of those in there, but we're going to kind of break it down on here as our favorite quick service, then our favorite casual dining, and then our favorite signature dining, which could be more like upscale or fine dining. And I will tell you this, Disney does define some signature dining things, but not all of them are included. You can look at the thing. There's obviously restaurants in there that should be considered fine dining by Disney standards, especially when they're carrying $3 or $4 signs next to it and they don't say fine dining next to it. I'm like, I get that the what is it? The Germany, the Oktoberfest place or whatever it is, the beer garden. Yeah, is when you eat there, it's like eating at a fine dining thing, not the atmosphere, obviously, because nobody's chugging beers and doing weird stuff, but it is expensive at the end of that meal. Like, I'm like, cost comparative. I mean, it's not just the price of it. It's like, it's the experience you get with it. So we'll start with quick service. Okay. So Gina, I know you've been chomping at the bit to tell me your favorite quick service. And I say this without the most sarcastic tone in the world.
For those of you listening, this is the exact opposite because I told Josh that's my biggest struggle. I don't know.
So I thought I'd put you in there first.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for calling on me, Teach. I didn't do my homework. No, I did. It's so hard because I know one of the ones you're going to name because you mentioned it on previous podcasts. For me, it's a struggle.
Don't spoil my answers before they're
answers. I'm not spoiling it. I'm just saying it only matters if somebody's listened to an episode before this. How do we know we don't have new listeners?
This is episode 11. Who starts on 11?
Here's the thing. I don't. Well, if they're watching on YouTube, it just may come up as a random video. I don't have a quick service that jumps to mind because I'm madly in love with it, unless something's just escaping my mind. Magic Kingdom, let's say, I feel like there's ones that are fine and I like, but I'm not racing to go to. So the first one that comes to my mind, and if you're thinking Harbor House, I know everybody loves Harbor House. I enjoy Harbor House, but it doesn't like.
Wasn't even in that park. Wasn't even in that park. I
Oh,
think I
well, I'm
know
saying
yours, but you
the
don't know.
number one quick service that just first comes to mind when someone says, "What's a quick service you should check out?" is going to be ABC Commissary.
There it
Because
is. I knew
I
it.
love
I
the
wish I could bet
menu.
on you. My
Yeah.
gambling would have been so much better if I could just
I
bet on
love
Lance.
the menu there. It does change time to time, but for those who have ever seen me comment on this topic, when someone mentions anything about ABC Commissary or Hollywood Studios quick services, my answer is my elite combo, top tier combo is get food from ABC Commissary with a mobile order once you've secured your table. Now be with friends so they can hold it for you. And then eat outside a Baseline Tap House, get a drink. One of my favorite things to get there from a drink. So we're not going to count that as a bar lounge, I don't think. But my favorite thing to get there is they used to have a black cherry soda on tap, I think it was. And then they switched to the hibiscus soda or vice versa. I'm trying to think from when I go. And then I would get that just with vodka. And that is a delicious combo, whatever the flavored soda they have on tap is combined with vodka. And I get that. And then I have my Mediterranean salad from the ABC Commissary. And it is absolutely delicious. It's a very like for a quick service. I feel like it gives the vibes, especially pairing those two together as if you're doing a casual dining experience. There's just not a waiter
No, I
or
agree with you
server taking care of.
110%.
Yeah, that's top on
it's
my
a
list.
wonderful plus it's the vibe of Baseline when you're
Yeah.
sitting out there.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
love
it's
it.
a
The
great
the
meeting spot
Addison
for
lights and the corner, like great for people
it's a great
watching,
meeting
bathroom
spot
right
and a place
across.
to recharge your batteries. For any of
Mhm.
you listening to the podcast hoping for tips about Disney, that's a great one. Okay,
Mhm.
because if you're somebody that doesn't like to ride every ride, or there's ones that maybe bore you, maybe there's ones that you can't get onto or can't get on because of motion sickness. So if you're not a rock and roller coaster kind of person, you're not a Tower of Terror, you don't like that kind of stuff, but people want to go ride it, you say, you know what, I'm going to go over, I'm going to recharge my batteries, I'm going to sit at a table at Baseline Tap House, maybe grab a snack from ABC Commissary. I can't talk. We've seen this time and time again, but you get a snack, and plus they've got like pretzels, charcuterie kind of things at Baseline too, and you
Baseline,
just
yeah.
sit there and wait for people. And it is if it's a nice day, it's beautiful out. You can people watch, you can do a lot right there.
If it's not clear to those of you listening, Josh means recharge your batteries in both the literal sense and perhaps even the figurative sense of chill out, recharge your batteries, like as in yourself. But they do literally have charging ports in the little tables, like inside the little like bar stretch, whatever. So, in case that wasn't clear, you can actually recharge your phone's batteries there.
And I would like to say that I did not mean that because I forgot all about it. But Gina was great to catch that and make me sound more intelligent than I
Well,
really
you said a pro
am.
tip. So at first I thought you were saying it like figuratively. And then when you said a pro tip, I went, oh, you can sit, recharge your batteries. Like that's what people would want to do.
Well, I'm glad you could build off of my foundation of whatever. I don't know. that was great. I like it.
So what
All
was
right.
your
So I'll
top?
move to my quick service, which everybody knows what I'm going to say. Now it's a little bit of a change, and we gave a shout out to official JV TV that Gina was talking about last episode. And he did some reviews of different quick services in Walt Disney World, and this was on the list, but he said something that actually is true. One of my favorites is Lotus Blossom. Okay, and Lotus Blossom has really good orange chicken. It's got some solid Chinese food options. Portions used to be a lot bigger at this, and they had a little
Yeah.
bit more going for it. And there's a little more substance to like their orange chicken. I believe it had some kind of vegetables in with it. I want to say with the sweet and sour kind of thing. It was more like some peppers and some stuff in there, as I remember it.
Mhm.
I've noticed that the last time I went back, I was like, did this change? Because it seems like they simplified the menu. I don't know, it's probably based on cost. Everything with Disney is based on cost, but it is solid. Like I have never had a bad meal there. I like their pot stickers, their what is it, Mongolian beef or whatever they call it, their beef dish, their beef noodles. But the orange chicken is my go-to. Get that spring roll, and I get their lychee iced tea. And It's just awesome. I can sit there. I'm a happy camper. I had it twice when I was there last time on my solo trip. Before I left for the day, I was like, I'm getting this. I'm like, I just want to be happy.
I don't know what it is, but I would 1,000 times rather eat at Lotus Blossom than Nine Dragons. And that's so weird because you'd think like, oh, if you love that, you'd want to like sit down and sit in the sit down restaurant there. But that's just not
It's weird
one I
because I
enjoy.
kind of want to. It's weird for me, guys. I kind of want to go. Let's hit my microphone. I want to go back to Nine Dragons. And I feel like here's the strategy we should have for Nine Dragons. If they
Okay.
don't get it together, because it's never been great,
Mhm.
every time you go and it's a bad experience, they have to get rid of a dragon. So it's like now it's like stars. I'm
It's like
now
9 lives. How many lives do they have
we're
left?
now eating at 4 dragons. You're
Well,
like, what happened?
Josh,
the
the
last
thing is,
5
Josh,
minutes?
is like
Or
Chinese
6
food. If
or
you love
4 minutes.
Chinese food, then you think like, okay, great. I love Chinese food. I'm gonna love Nine Dragons. It's like an authentic, like Chinese, pavilion in Epcot Center, and this should be great. It's so hard to put into words what it is that makes me not enjoy that experience. I'm not really sure, but I feel like every 5 to 7 years we do say, let's give it another try. God bless Daddy. He always loves it. And I think because with Daddy, it's very hard to not please Daddy with Chinese food. I think that he will just love Chinese food anywhere.
Eat Chinese food out of
Off the
someone's
floor.
trunk.
Yeah,
If somebody was selling Chinese food in the back of their car with hibachi out there or something, he'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's just guys, what is Chinese food? You want to go?"
Yeah. So I
But
do think
it's
that's
also the China Pavilion itself.
Mhm.
This is a little not to do with this particular episode, but I feel so judged and watched in the
Mhm.
Chinese pavilion in their
Yeah.
store because I think
Yeah.
everybody that comes to work there inherently thinks everybody from the US is trying to rip them off and
Oh,
steal something because they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, you like this? Here, let me put it behind
You
the counter
can't
for you."
carry anything
Well,
around in there. You have to
no,
take
you
it to
can't,
account. So
and it
I don't
makes
know
you
if
feel
that
like
is.
a
I've
thief.
never been to China, so I don't know if that is something that is just also true in China, or if it is something that they only do. Maybe previously they did have a lot of shoplifting. I don't know because they think they
Maybe
do
it
have a
was a
lot of little.
problem. I'm thinking it was a problem.
It had to have
I'm
been
thinking
because
it was a problem.
you
I'm thinking,
cannot
who did
browse
it?
in there with something in your hand. If you're buying, you're buying it. Like you pick it up, you
Yeah.
touch, you buy. Like that is it. You're gonna buy it, and they're
But I
or
get
maybe
what
they work on
listen,
commission. I don't know.
I am tattooed, pierced. I'm not a small human being, but I walk through there and I'm like, they're just kind of like the side eye. They're like,
They
"What's
do
he
the same
doing?
thing
What's
to
he
me.
doing next to
I don't
kimonos?"
think they judge anyone, profile anybody. I think it's just if you are touching
I'm like,
something,
"Lady,
you
I
are
just came in here to buy a set of chopsticks and I'm out." Okay. I'm
yeah,
like, I want to do that. And I
yeah,
want to put a little bit of change in the Buddha in the middle, make a
yeah,
little wish, and I'm out of here.
yeah.
And
But
but
anyway,
no, every time. Okay. So
back
anyway,
to
Lotus Blossom, quick service.
right, quick
Enough said
service.
about that.
So now do you want to share an honorable mention quick service, another one that you like, or are you just sticking with one?
I will say honorable mention for a quick service. Yes. I will say Satuli Canteen.
That's what I was gonna say. That was gonna be
I
my
would say
honorable
that's an honorable
mention.
mention because the food there is the bowls they
It is.
have, they appeal to everyone. It's solid food. Even you can even get like a tofu bowl there. It's not bad at all. I
Yeah,
mean,
I really
they've
like
got
it.
something for every dietary kind of thing. Don't quote me on that because we all know I'm wrong all the time. But like, I'm allergic to everything and I can't eat there.
Right.
Listen, we're not talking to you and you not being fun. So
It's also a cool
anyway,
looking place. It fits the theme, the theming,
oh,
and
it's
the
great in
vibe.
Pandora. Yeah.
It's great. There's a cocktail place right outside there where you can get like the margaritas and stuff. Sometimes I don't know. Do they still do that big bionic looking guy from like the movie that would walk
Oh
around?
yeah,
It was, like,
no, they got the
machine
guy
type
from
So that's a
from
good
Avatar.
spot to see
He
that. I
still
haven't
pops
seen
up
it.
there every once in a while.
Yeah, I would say that's a great like the thing is I will say they're efficient in the way that they outline it where it's like you kind of come in and they don't want people just going straight to the table, which can be annoying when you want to save a spot, but I do think it keeps the line moving very fast there the way that they operate that quick service. But that was going to be my honorable mention, and since it was the same one for you, I guess I will state another one which I know is also I think
Oh,
true for
good. I
both
got
of us.
another one.
No, I'm saying because I think we also both agree is that Harbor House, like Harbor House, always comes up on the list because it has a ton of seating. The menu is decent. It's not just
I
burgers
wish
and
it was
chicken
the
fingers.
old school one.
Yeah, I do think it was better
It was better with the
menu-wise.
clam chowder and the bread bowl and those kind of things.
Right. I do miss the bread bowls. Absolutely. But there's a ton of seating in there. It's indoor seating. People don't realize that there's a whole upstairs if you can't find seating downstairs. So I will say, as far as Magic Kingdom, because I'm trying to think where else. Like I know that I've seen people say like Friar's Nook has good food. We eat at Pinocchio a lot of the time. That's terrible. On the
First of
amount
all,
of
my
seating.
family loves Pinocchio Village House. Like
Yeah.
they love it. That's their favorite
Yeah.
place to get
It's
like quick
decent.
service.
I wouldn't say I love it. It's decent. My favorite memory about Pinocchio
Don't say that
Village
around my
House
girls.
is the book that you can sign in there, the Wish book, that my son, at just learning to write, so it was just a couple years ago, he wrote in there, "I wish my family would leave me alone." And I took a picture of it and I said, "I'm never going to let you forget this." And when he hears this podcast, he will be annoyed that I told the story. I'm sorry, Massimo, but it was just a moment. Okay, and my son's not a brat. He's really not. It was just in that moment, just kind of like something, I guess, hit him, like we all have our moments. And so the next time we went back, he was determined to write. I go, "There are kids in here wishing their cancer went away, and you're wishing this is like a Kevin McAllister. I wish my
I
family
hate
would
my
leave me
family for
alone."
bringing me to Disney. How
But I'm
dare
like,
they?
that's what you're wishing for. That you're Kevin McAllister right now. Like that is what you just wished. But again,
I made my family disappear.
right, pretty much.
Cool.
But anyway,
All
so
right.
I
All
will
right. So
say
that's our
Pinocchio's fine.
so
Pinocchio's
that's our
fine.
our quick service. So we'll move to the next part of things.
But wait, I want to say
Which
something
is-
else real quick, Josh, is that I do think the reason I haven't experienced more of the quick services, like again, like Friar's Nook, is because they are just like a walk up and there's not seating. I don't do a lot of like walk and eat in Disney. If I'm walking, I'm headed somewhere. So like for me, quick service generally does come down to somewhere where I'm going to like sit and eat the meal.
Well, that's
So
why you
I
always do
know,
your ADRs and all your advanced dining reservations for everybody who
right.
might be new to that. But when
Yeah.
you do your advanced dining reservations, it's stuff where you know you're going to have a seat and you know you're going to be able to, because there's anxiety in the parks. It's a real thing of being able to sit, eat,
Mhm.
and relax. But if you don't have a reservation, you said this place is mob because it's quick service. We got to try to find a table, especially if you being a single mom, and if you're
Mhm.
in there and it's just you and Massimo
Mhm.
walking around and you're like, I've got to order the food, I got to carry the food, I got to find a table. It is a lot easier, and I get where you're coming from. So experiencing it from that angle
Mhm.
is a little bit different. No, I get that.
Yeah. So even so though, like the ones that have seating are always going to take precedence for me over the ones that are just a walk up like Friar's Nook, unless I'm going to get a snack, like a
Okay.
special flavored like Dole Whips, obviously. That is something you're going to walk up, get, and I'll eat as I go. But it's really just kind of planning in there because unless you're going
Well,
to
I'm talking regular
powerhouse it.
meals. That's what I'm talking about
Right,
more
right,
in
right,
this.
right. Yeah, but I'm saying those. That's what I'm saying though. Like, because Friar's Nook does have like meal stuff. Sleepy Hollow does have meal stuff. They're just not things that also have seating. So there are meal things you can walk up and get, but I'm not usually prone to pick those because I'm not. There's nowhere to sit, and it's like again, like you said, with a child, that's hard to do sometimes. Like here, stand here and eat this meal.
No, I
And
get
there's a
it.
couple
All
tables
right,
near like
so
Sleepy Hollow.
let's move on to casual dining.
Okay.
So casual dining, it's just you're seated
Mhm.
with a server, that kind of stuff, but it's not
Mhm.
something you're going to be like, we're having a night on the town or it's Valentine's Day dinner kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Gina?
I know you 100% know what I'm going to pick because everybody who knows me knows what I would pick in this category. We're eating
Go ahead.
there on the trip.
Go ahead.
Sci-fi. Sci-fi.
Yep.
Sci-fi, thank God it has been one that has been open since the dawn of time of MGM Studios. I love that restaurant so much. I don't even know if it was an opening day one. It might have been added later, even like not too much later, but
It was
Sci-Fi,
close to
it was
opening day
close.
as I
Prime
remember it.
time was
Yeah.
open, I believe, but I don't know if Sci-Fi
Yeah,
was at the very
100%.
beginning. I have to look that up. Fact check me on that. But Sci-Fi is everything. If you have not experienced it, and actually, I was just talking to Brad today, and they've never been there, and they're doing it for dinner for the Phantasmic show,
Mhm.
like package and dinner package. I love sci-fi so much because something to know about me is I love the 50s and 60s. I love that era. I wish I had grown up in the 50s to drive, the Bel Airs and the convertibles and go to the sock hop and go to the drive-ins were around when we were kids, but it's not the same thing, and there's very few that are still even around, but I loved it. So when they first said that restaurant, it's the idea that your tables are shaped like 57 Chevy Bel Airs, basically. And
Mhm.
it looks like it's nighttime in there, kind of like the way the Mexico Pavilion does. And it's a big screen and they show clips of old like movies and they show clips of old commercials and ads and things like that. It used to be when it first opened that the waitresses were all like, a lot of them were on roller skates, not necessarily the ones bringing your food. Some of them might have been, but I think that was kind of like a liability. They do still have some, like your hostesses might be on roller skates. They used to give out free popcorn the way like a Mexican restaurant would give out chips and salsa. But it got to be so messy, I think, that's why they stopped doing it because kids were just spilling popcorn all over the place and it was hard to.
Or they got everybody going,
yeah.
They're trying to get that hole out of their
I
throat.
will say that I'm not saying the menu is going to knock your socks off. Right now, they pretty much are down.
I have things to say and retort to your choice, but go ahead.
But I do enjoy the burger there. I do like the burger there. I love to also get something that I don't get anywhere else is I get a cherry Coke float. So instead of a root beer float, I ask for a cherry Coke float and I get that with my burger and my fries. It is dimly lit. So if as an older person, even though they have the lamps at the table, like the little low level lighting, mom or dad always has to pull out like their phone flashlight to be able to read the menu. But it's fun. It's immersive because it's like when you get your check, it's called your parking ticket. I personally don't love when you get seated. Like if you're a table of a group of 2 or 4, you may be seated in the back that are like patio tables. They're like with the umbrella and all. I think if it's your first time there, that can kind of not be the same kind of experience. So some people might not care. We sat there one time, if you recall, we sat in that back like little table. They also have the difference between the cars that are booth seating where you're all facing the screen and then ones where it's a table in the midst of the car. So it's chairs and stuff, which is great. Obviously, if you have a high chair, that's going to work better for you. I don't think that changes the experience at all. But I just love it. I love it. That's my standard. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get a burger. I'm going to get my cherry Coke float and watch my old school stuff and pretend like I live in that era. And I love it. And if it ever left, I would be devastated.
I will quickly say 2 things so I can keep the pace of this going. Here's what I'll say about this. I agree. The menu is not going to knock you off your feet. It's not. It's simple food. It's average kind
driving food. It's
average theme park fare.
Right.
It is going to be not much different than your walk-ups and things like that.
A little bit.
It used to be that burger on there was like a picnic burger and it had like a hot dog on top. Now I think it's like pulled pork or something that's like on there. I want to say it's probably is the option. But they have that, and it's also way back in the day when Disney started doing the glow drinks. That was one of the first places that had the glow drinks in it, where they had the light up ice cubes. So we were like, oh, we all fished them out. Like, and this was before when there wasn't buttons on them. You had to smack these things against your wrists and bruise yourself to turn them on and off.
Dramatic.
But you got them, and they had their little glow drinks. So that was neat. My choice for a casual is actually a recent choice, because I've eaten there a couple times, actually a few times now, and I really enjoy it, is Summer House on the Lake.
Oh,
so
see, and
Summer House is in Disney Springs. It's more of a newer restaurant. It is beyond solid. I will tell you this right now. The service is good. The people that work there haven't had an issue. Fresh ingredients. Really nice menu. I highly recommend, if you like ahi tuna, get the ahi tuna and watermelon tostadas. Like little bite-sized thing. They are just incredible. They also have potato salad, deviled eggs that are off the chains. Gina, you want to say something? I can see it.
I was going to say, though, I think aesthetically it's a beautiful restaurant. It really gives a really cool
and
vibe.
Like a bar outside, like in the front. I think it's like a cookie bar of some sort or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't. I personally, like, I'm not a bougie person for the most part. Like, don't mistake this. Joshua will understand. I was in the Hamptons last summer for our sister's bachelorette party, and there was a restaurant there. I believe it was called 75th and Main or 74th and Main. And that is what Summer House on the Lake gives me those vibes. It's like the cool, like wicker and lanterns. It's again, great service there. Absolutely great. And sometimes you have to wonder, like, is that because it is new? I hope not. The food is aesthetically pleasing. The drinks were delicious. I love the vibe. Very, very, very much.
Well, I'm glad you picked it as your place. Oh,
sorry
you did.
For agreeing with you. You said I never agree with you. And when I agree with you,
I had to sit through the tirade of sci-fi. You're like, and by the way, it was built in.
I hate it here.
I'm like,
I hate it here.
This thing.
Timestamp 2829.
So anyway. That restaurant, I just went there the last time I was there, and everything on the menu, I honestly, my eyes are all red from laughing.
I'm laughing, crying.
My experience is always good, and like I said, the food quality is outstanding. One thing I'll say, if you order the tacos, make sure that you're like, can you make them as soon as they're ready? Just bring them out. Don't let them sit on the window because they're in those corn tortillas, and you go to pick up your taco and everything falls out. You're like, oh, this wore right through both wrapped little corn tortillas, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. But that is a solid choice. I always love Disney Springs. A lot of my favorite restaurants are in Disney Springs. Shout out and honorable mention to the Boathouse, because the Boathouse would be my runner up as far as. Everybody knows where my favorite place to eat, and that's where it is. Their oysters are phenomenal. It's weird because it's a Gibson steakhouse, and I think I've rarely gotten a steak there. They have great cuts of meat, everything. But every time they have the swordfish, when they have that on the menu, I order it, and it's so good. Their fish courses and all are just phenomenal, prepared beautifully, and you can't ask for better.
What's wild about categorizing all of this is the fact that when you say that, like, see, to me, I think, not that anybody else categories, I think of Boathouse as signature dining. Like,
Mhm.
because I think of it as like, oh, when we're going to Boathouse, I'm going to go home and change first. Now, yes, you could just walk in there in your shorts. Many people do. But to me, that's a place like I feel like if I'm going to put on a dress to go there and feel like it's like a night out, I would put Boathouse in that category.
So the reason I'm going to say this, and sorry for trigger warning for one of my friends here. I go. So my buddy Jeff, I've met him at the Boathouse, I think, multiple times. I think Jeff got like ribs and fries one time there, and like we're out to dinner, but it irritated me because I'm like, we're at the Boathouse. Are you 5? Like I go, you weren't off the kids, man. I didn't even know they had ribs and fries. Where did you find this? But I
Mhm.
like figure, oh, I'm gonna have a steak. I'm gonna have like the salmon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have spoiler alert everywhere I go now with him. He orders salmon, but it's like it's just weird to me. But I'll always get like the swordfish, and then I'll get like I think they have a carpaccio and they have their sticky buns and everything too on there that were really good for the appetizers. But I do like the Boathouse.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love it there. I just, for me, I would have considered that like what we're
yeah, you
considering.
can consider it all you want. It's just saying in my category that's going to sit there. And now we're going to move on
Do you know
to
what I would have thought your honorable mention was going to be? Was Yak and Yeti. Because I
oh,
know
Yak and
that
Yeti's great 'cause it's another Landry's restaurant, and I have tips and stuff like
I was
that.
going to say, because Josh not picking a Landry's restaurant, for those who don't know, that Josh is a Landry's VIP, that when he pulls out his
Well,
Landry's
the thing is,
card,
if you get here's a hot tip for everybody. Landry's owns a lot of different restaurants, but in Disney
Mhm.
World, it is T-Rex, it is
Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe, and Yak and Yeti. And if it's hard to get reservations at Yak and Yeti through the Disney reservation system. I'm glad you said this.
Mhm.
So what you can do is if you're in Animal Kingdom and if you're one of the Landry Select members, and you can just go to any Landry's, you can go to like Rainforest Cafe, just ask them about it. It might be like $20 to join, whatever else it is,
Mhm.
but you get reward points. They give you stuff. It's always pays to have that, but you get priority seating. So when you go up to Yak and Yeti, you can say, how long's the wait? They might say an hour. You say, how long is it if you're a Landry Select member? And they're like, oh, we'll get you seated pretty much almost right away.
I've
So
seen it with
sometimes
you
it
with
might be a
Rainforest
15-minute wait because you
Cafe.
might knock out an hour-long wait. And if
Yeah.
they can't accommodate you, they can't. But I've 90% of the time I get in there and it's great. But it works great for Rainforest and Yak and Yeti and T-Rex.
But
So
we have
keep
to
that in
tell
mind.
this story about you because actually a friend of ours just told a similar story about this same story almost on their podcast too. Is that because Josh is a Landry's Select member and because Josh does frequent Landry's restaurants, I've been with him one at the Rainforest Cafe where he has walked up and they've said, "This is the wait," and he's like, "I'm Landry Select," and they're like, "Okay, get in line. You can be one of the next tables." But also, Josh gained so many reward points that we've sat there and our entire bill has been covered and they always look shocked. Like whoever our server is like, I'm sorry, what? Like it's very rare you see somebody who's got enough Landry's points to like
So
cover the entire bill. We
so
always
here's
take great care of the server. We always take great care of the server. But it's just kind of funny that
well,
Josh
it's because in a prior life, like Morton's is one of Landry's restaurants, and Morton's I would go to like clients in a previous life, like I said, what I used to do. We would go to Morton's and all. It was a company function, whatever else it is, and you get things and like benefits with Landry's. So I'm like, okay, I just pay the check, whatever, like you normally did, business meals, stuff like that. But I give them my Landry's thing, so all the points from that, it's not like the company doesn't have a Landry's card, so it's like they would come back to me, and I'm like, okay,
the
and I'm
amount
like,
of managers we have met over the years at these restaurants because the manager
and
has
they're
to
like, you have, and it might be something like I might have sitting there and they're like $300 worth of stuff that's more than enough to pay for our family
yeah,
of 6 for dinner,
yeah,
and it's like you're like,
mhm,
okay, I
yeah.
love it. But hot tip for you guys, make sure you're a Landry Select member if
Agree,
you're going to
absolutely
Walt
agree.
Disney
It is
World
a
and
great
dining at
tip.
those restaurants, is it will make your experience far better and you'll earn points.
Yeah.
Um, let's go into signature dining.
Mhm.
Okay. I will start signature dining. And this place has been near and dear to us for many, many years because we've gone up there. We've had a lot of great experiences. The menu's changed over the time, but it is one of the best views in Walt Disney World is California Grill. And the reason I picked that is because the experiential stuff with it being at the top of the Contemporary, you always want to try to get seated nearing where the fireworks are. They always make a deal where you can come back and watch the fireworks if you want. If you've eaten there, they'll let you come back up to the restaurant. You can watch and go out on the decks. I'm afraid of heights, so I don't go outside. I just watch through the window, but they pipe the music in. So it's really nice there. But the menu, like if you like sushi, if you like higher end kind of foods and all, really, really good. Really good. They also do like a all you can eat kind of little party up there for some tapas and all that I heard is really good. I haven't done yet, but I would like to go and do. And it's like an all you can drink kind of thing with different specialty cocktails.
Yeah. I know it was disappointing to members of our family when I think it was for the 50th anniversary and they just never changed it back that California Grill went to a prefix.
Yeah.
I do understand the reason because just like with Be Our Guest, when you have a hot commodity restaurant and there are the people that come and hold a table till the fireworks that are just like, oh, we're going to get a sushi platter, 6 of us, and we're all going to split it. I understand their reasoning for switching to a prefix. It wouldn't keep me.
You mean like when Danielle had ordered all that sushi?
Yeah.
The best line, by the way, so here, real quick, our sister Danielle, who is picky, like she doesn't eat a lot, she doesn't order a lot. It's never her. She gets the small portions of things. She's a small person. She's sitting there, orders this sushi, and you get different rolls. Well, I don't know how she ordered, but they bring her back this platter, and it's like the size of the table. And we're laughing because this thing is huge. Her face is like, that's mine. But my wife says the same thing. She's like, what took so long for the sushi? Because they were cutting the legs off of it. Like, and I was cracking up. I'm like, this is so every time now we say, you remember the time Danny ordered all that sushi? It was so funny.
Anytime someone's got a big portion, anytime I think we're like, remember when Danny ordered all that sushi, which she probably ordered 3 rolls, which is not crazy for someone to order for their dinner because she wanted to try different ones, but it like came on a massive platter and it will be eternally a memory. I do love California Grill, but I'm going to go a different route. I will say probably 3 or 4 years ago, that would have been my choice, but I don't mean it's not my choice now because anything's wrong with California Grill. It's because something has surpassed it for me, and that is Citrico's. I am so happy for the revamp of Citrico's that they did. I was hesitant to try when I was like, okay, it's been a while since we've been to Citrico's. We had that great experience, you remember, when we were on the trip that we've mentioned before with my ex-boyfriend, Jim. A friend of mine that we both knew from restaurants and stuff was down there. And this was when the dining plan was kind of new, remember? And the family that she was staying with had left early and they had like the platinum dining pack. So they had all these dining credits still left on there. And we were able to like have dinner at Citrico's on that plan without us having to pay for anything. We just paid for like our bottles of wine and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah,
great experience.
The dining plan worked differently back then. Now they're
different.
like,
that's what I said. It was very new at the time. It was very, very different. So, then they revamped it and I was like, let's give Citrico's a try. And my God, do I love that place. Every time I've been there, the service has been top notch. And I've probably been 3 or 4 times in the last couple years. And the service is top notch. I think the food is phenomenal, both presentation wise and tasting. I love the cocktails. I love the bar in there is very pretty. I mean, it's small, like when you first come in, but it's very pretty. I love the Mary Poppins essence that they've done in there. It's not like
very
cartoony.
Understated in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
With the
and I've been fortunate enough the last 3 times I've been there, maybe I've been like 5 times recently, but the last 3 times I've been there, I know we have had seating near the window and you see the fireworks and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is just a magical experience. Even my 8-year-old gets a steak there because, he's on a big steak kick right now. It feels fancy, but you don't have to get like formally dressed up to go in there. But I love it. You could go to Enchanted Rose first for a drink, or you can have a drink in Citrico's.
It is the only place my daughter, who doesn't eat really red meat, will order a filet, which doesn't help my wallet. But I'm like, and where she goes,
it is pricey. It is very pricey. Everyone take note.
But it is delicious because she's like, I like it with the mashed potatoes and the filet was so good. I'm like, it's always a great cut of meat. As long as you get to your temperature liking, but it's...
And for those who don't know, because I know we assume a lot of things that people know listening to this podcast, it's located in the Grand Floridian. It's upstairs, and it is on the same floor as the Enchanted Rose and Victoria and Albert's, which I know we said we were going to mention that the reason we're not listing that anywhere in here is that is a completely different beast. We have been fortunate enough to visit that restaurant many times.
We put that under unicorn dining. I mean, like that's what you do because
it's like diamond restaurant.
It's a 5 diamond and it has a Michelin star now. And it is. I've had the best, I think 3 or 4 meals of my life have come at Victoria and Albert's, and I've been fortunate. from the early days where it wasn't $700 when you pay, per
I
person.
think it was
to
like
go back and
180,
forth again. It
including
was used to
wine.
be like a couple $100 a person, and you get this
Yeah.
thing now. It's like if you're gonna do it maxed out, it's gonna be probably $700+ a person to really do the all out wine pairings, get your cocktails, do all this stuff with tip. All that's gonna
Yeah.
be close to like $600-700.
I
But amazing.
Yeah, you need to be a foodie to appreciate that though, because we have a
Yeah.
friend,
Don't
Caitlin,
take
that says she
somebody's
wants to
chicken
try
fingers.
it.
Yeah.
Right. She wants to try it. And I'm like, I'd love you to experience, but I don't know it'd be worth the money for you because they will work with you. Obviously, if you don't eat seafood or you don't eat meat or you don't like certain things. But to really get the experience, I think the people that really love it all and are willing to try it all, step out of their comfort zone, it is a fabulous experience. They really do all the little touches, like a little tuffet for your purse to go on. They're coming, they're changing glassware, they're changing bread between the courses. Everything is really top notch. The one thing I will say, since I brought this up, is that they changed the aesthetic of it after COVID, because it was shut down for a while after COVID. And I know some people who worked in that area said, well, it was kind of musty in there. It's due for a revamp, but it was so popular they couldn't close it down.
It
and
looks
waste
like a
all that money.
convention meeting room now.
It's very
It's
white
cold.
and light and bright.
It's
And I know a
cold.
lot of people love that, but to me, it's very vanilla. It used to be very Victorian in there, and it was very special. Even back in the day, they used to wear Victorian garb, and it was like all the waitresses were named Victoria, like that was their fake name, and all the waiters were Albert. And
Good
now,
thing they worked there. Yeah.
right, it's just a little like I miss that aesthetic. Again, we
I
always talk
love
about
the harpist, like the harp player. I'm like,
but
oh
it
my goodness,
is. I just feel like it
she
needs a
is
little bit
amazing.
more theming in there right now, but it is still an absolutely knockout. If you have the bank to drop on it,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
worth
I
the
don't have that
experience.
kind of bankroll right now to go
Me
and drop
either.
at Victorian Alberts, but I said once upon a time doing certain things, I'm like, I was very privileged to be
it's a-
able to do that.
For
And
sure.
trust me, it's one of the best memories I have.
But
As
Disney,
we-
we're welcome. We're fine to come back to if Disney wants to invite us.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to send us there. So in this secondary part of our hour-long episode that we'll have this time, as we did last time, we're going to go into some of our favorite bar spots in Walt Disney World and talk a little bit about those. I'm going to start this off with something that not everybody has access to, but I feel like it needs mentioning because it's fun. It's the Top of the World Lounge at the Bay Lake Tower at Contemporary. So the Top of the World Lounge is a DVC, thing, which now it's the Villain's Lair.
Villain's Lair.
Yeah, Villain's Lair, but it's still the Top of the World Lounge. So they themed it in there. They have like a little coat rack that has all the different like villains kind of things, like Cruella's coat. So you basically go up there, got hats on there like Dr. Facilier, all these things. So you can go up there, put on a coat, put on a hat, get lice from whoever wore it before you, and then depart. But yeah, like that's a very villainy thing to do. You just put this hat on that 800 people wore before you. You're like, my wife would look at me if I tried on a hat in a store and goes, "You're gonna put that on your head?"
Yeah.
Like, she's like, take the one from the back at least. It's not a laced up. But they have really great cocktails. It's like some weird stuff that they do, but it's nice. They had some really, really delicious not vegetarian, but like vegan flatbread kind of thing where it was a meat.
I've made that at home since. Like I've made it.
I'm not into that. I'm not into like the Beyond Meats and all this stuff, but whatever they did with this, it was really good. And not like it's say I'm putting this in the meat category, but it was
Right.
something
Well, you can use
special.
real meat on it. You can use real meat
Yeah,
when you make it at
But
home.
it was really good. But I enjoyed that experience there. But that's like a DVC only thing, or if you're having to go up there with somebody who has Disney Vacation Club. So that was a lounge for them.
Not trying to debate you, Josh, but the thing about that and why it wouldn't be on my list is I do think it's a miss with the theming. Like Villains is such a great theme. And I know when we went up there the first time.
Temporary, that's why I said Top of the World Lounge. I think that's
But is it temporary? Like how long is temporary? Because it's been like that for like a while now. I thought that was
like, it would only be there for like 10 minutes. Then like, let's take this out.
I just feel like Villains, they could have done so much to make that really special. And I just feel like the theming is a miss for me as far as that. But you know how I am on theming. I'm the theming
I
police.
think we should go on to your pick so I can poop on it. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not saying these in order because I know we're going to name multiple.
Just name one.
Nomad Lounge.
It's crap.
I like
it's
it
actually
there.
on my list too. Darn it.
I would say though, this may be a weird opinion.
Nomad Lounge is awesome. It's awesome.
I think I actually prefer sitting outside to inside. And I know that can be a struggle on a hot day, but because there is cover, remember we were all sitting there and it was like, it must have been the adults trip. It was like all of us, and then we did that adults trip and we're sitting, it was like raining, but you're undercover. So you're not like getting hit by the rain. And it just really gave you that kind of vibe of like,
porch. Yeah.
It didn't feel like we were in Florida, and that's what we always say about Animal Kingdom that's so great is it can really transport you and make you feel like you're somewhere perhaps
If it was raining, it made me feel like I was in Florida.
No, it did feel like we were on like safari somewhere. It's just a cool vibe, cool drinks. So I do think it's worth mentioning as far as maybe a place not a lot of people know about, or have passed by but maybe have not stopped. But I do think that that's one worth mentioning. I do like Nomad Lounge.
No, that was one of mine.
Mhm.
So I was gonna say that, but I had to poop on it because you pooped on mine.
I know. For
Um,
me to poop on.
yes, for me to poop
For
on.
me to poop on.
What was some of the drinks that we had at Nomad?
I know Jen's Tattoo is a popular one.
That was one of the ones I was thinking of. That's a good one.
That's
Like
fine. It's a bit
tiger
sweet,
something.
so you're not going to probably have more than one of those. It's a
What was
bit
the
sweet.
tiger one? There was a tiger something, wasn't there?
Yes, but I can't remember what it is.
Hold on, I'm gonna figure that out. Say
Okay.
funny things while I try to figure it out.
No, I like that. That is attached to the restaurant. Begins with a T. What is the name of the restaurant that is attached to Nomad Lounge? It's the bar. Tiffin's. Yeah, Tiffin's. I've never eaten at Tiffin's, so I can't comment on that. But I do I remember the first time I had Jen's Tattoo, I stopped with Brianna. Everybody was heading, I think, towards
Tempting Tigress.
Okay.
Tempting Tigress is one of the things because that's the one that's basically kind of a it's a bourbon cocktail because it's with Russell's 10-year, and I'm a bourbon guy. So any people out there wondering what Josh drinks, and not that I'm trying to refer to myself in the third person and be that arrogant, but let's do it. But I love bourbons. I'm a neat bourbon drinker or like a single cube, and that's how I do things.
And you can get a drink.
I am a old-fashioned snob.
Yes,
so
that
like,
is
if you
true.
make
That
it
is
wrong,
100%.
I'm going to tell you, but not in a weird way. But it's going to be
And tell
after
everyone.
Yeah.
You'll tell everyone.
So
You can get a
Gina
drink to
seems
go
like
in
more
there
like
though.
a night monkey on the menu.
A lot of
Night
times,
monkey.
a lot of times, if it's a popular time, they will queue that place even for like walk into the bar. So you might wait in a little bit of a line, but it moves very fast depending again on the time of year. But if you want to get a drink to go and like take it with you, like don't think that you have to go in and like sit down and do the whole lounge thing. Like you can just walk right into the bar, get a drink to go, and
Well, that's the other thing. If they have the not virtual group, they have like a online walk up list or whatever it is. But if you go up there, you ask them first of all, say, is there any seating at the bar? That host will actually go in there, look and see for you and say, oh, there's a couple seats in there. I'm like, okay, just go in and say, otherwise that walk up list is for actual sit down stuff. It's not at the bar. So keep that in mind. If you're saying, well, people are putting their name on a list, it's probably because they're not going to sit at the bar. The bartenders are usually pretty good in there. I've had some great conversations with them. They had the bread service at Nomad Lounge is really good.
Really good.
I enjoy that a lot. So I would say get that. They took off one of the things. I forget what dip it was. And I asked him about it. And then the bartender came from the back. He goes, yeah, they took that off, but we have some. I'm like, did you find it somewhere? That's kind of off-putting. He goes, no, we have that for something else. We don't use it with the bread service. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, this one was a little better. Because I want to say it had something like it was like not like a chimichurri or something, but it was some kind of thing along that line. I think I'm gonna look on the small plates thing.
Just in general, that's a tip about a lot of places, though, just to keep in mind as another. I don't want to call it a pro tip, but for a lot of people, it might be obvious, but for some people may not realize. Even down to like the Rainforest Cafe, if there's a long wait, ask them if that includes the bar. And I don't mean bar stools.
Walk right into the bar there because that's open seating.
They have tables in the bar. They're open. So a lot of people don't realize that. And this came from back in the day when bars were always the smoking section of restaurants. And I know that because I worked in bars. So most people didn't make a reservation for the bar area. They made it for the dining because it was non-smoking. So unless you had a smoker, they might make a reservation for a bar table. And then it just kind of never went away. So if there is a place that has bar low tops or high tops, just say. Now, obviously, that means a restaurant. You're not going to walk into it in Enchanted Rose and be like, oh, open seating the bar.
That's
like
another great one too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That would be the next on my list.
So I'm going for like things cocktail wise. There's ones I like sitting for the aesthetics of the bar. There's ones I like going to for the actual cocktails. And I feel like they know what they're doing. Aesthetics of the bar and fun vibes. Even though I cannot, and I'm wearing an appropriate shirt right now. Okay, it's Trader Sam's. Trader Sam's, the vibe in there, it's fun. It's a tiki bar. It's diabetes everywhere around you because it is sugar upon cinnamon, upon rum, and all this other stuff. You're going to have all these flavors, but it is a lot of fun. They do so many little things. I'm not going to spoil what they do in there, how when somebody orders a drink or this happens. if you can get on the list in there, when you get into Polynesian, you go around towards the back end of Polynesian, follow the hallways and get there and say, can I put my name on the list? They'll text you and say you have a table ready. There is the ability for you to go and sit out on the terrace that's right there and order all the drinks that are on the Trader Sam's menu. Basically, what you're doing is having a little tiki party out there with none of the fun inside. So you're drinking all these drinks. They're sugary. I drank through the menus, real thing, even the 1 and 2 people drinks sitting out on that terrace. Worst idea of my life. The next morning, I had that sugar hangover, and I'm like, they're like, you did what? I bought even like some of the mugs and all from it. I had that Atlantis, whatever looking, like 20,000 Leagues thing. I had all this stuff, and I'm like, what was I doing? This was the dumbest mistake.
I feel the same way.
I never went into the bar that night. I literally was just sitting outside drinking.
That's like getting takeout from Hooters, Josh. Like, why would you like get something that like the experience is being there?
This episode's making me a little hungry.
I will agree with you because I've only been to Trader Sam's once. I 100% agree that it is absolutely worth experiencing at least once. It's really fun. It's a great vibe. I don't love the signature drinks there, not because there's anything wrong with them, but because I don't drink rum. And so it's just not an alcohol that I can agree with. So to me, the majority of the drinks, obviously, because it's a tiki place, are rum. And so I struggle.
And not only that, the majority of the drinks, because it's a tiki bar, because it's limited seating, because there's also things you can buy with the mugs. It's one of those. It's pricey. So you're going to have, but you can also go to the Tambu Lounge or whatever that's upstairs, that's outside of Ohana. Yeah, and get your, pineapple, drink and everything in there. We didn't mention this before. We'll mention it now since we're at the tail end of this episode. We're actually working on something right now. Gina and myself, we're putting together we'll call it like an ebook vacation planner for like a 5-day ultimate whatever Disney vacation. We're putting a lot of love into building a thing that people can use, whether you're first timers or long-time Disney people, more geared to the people that really want to make the most out of their Disney vacation, whether they've been there or not. But it's probably more towards the newbies because most people are going to know some of these things, but we have a lot of hints and tips and tricks that we have in there, fun activities you can do with your family and all that's going to be put into this kind of ebook and downloadable. And we're going to probably sell it at some point to people, not something crazy expensive, like probably like $2-3 million a pop. So we can,
really go back to Victorian albums.
Like really go into being an author. So, we're going to have to sell these things from all 5 of our fans out there that listen to the podcast. You guys are each going to have to pay about $1 million each. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
That sounds like Disney. Josh, that literally sounds like Disney rationale. There's not a lot of you, so we're going to charge you a ton.
But the ones that really like it, we're going to charge you more.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. No,
That's
you've worked really hard. You've done the majority of that work, if not all, and you've worked really, really hard on it. And I will just proofread it when it's done. So I am excited to add things.
Planner is not spelled with 3 N's.
I will say too that we want to before launching it, we talked about our next trip, which is coming up in the middle of this month, less than 2 weeks away from this date of taping, is we want to make sure that we're not missing anything as far as from being there in person. I'm sure there will things that will come up.
We just basically, we're not trying to sell anybody on something, which we are. So make sure you buy it when it comes out.
Sharing the magic.
But we want to make something more fun for each person. We want everybody to have the same fun Disney experience we do. We might say things about things we're kind of disappointed in, but Gina and I are like little kids. It's like, how many more sleeps until you go to Disney World? We can't it's the journey getting there. It's the feeling when you walk into your resort. It's a feeling when you finally get into your room. It's also the feeling when you get to your room and your magic band doesn't work and it's 11 p.m.
You can use your phone for that.
Yeah, and when your sister doesn't listen, that you've already tried. Have you tried restarting it? Look, all the useless help that people give you from your friends. But when you go through and you get there, you just want to be enveloped in that Disney magic, and that's what we're trying to provide in something, so that you have something you can do with your kids, activities that you can go and do there that aren't. It's not going to be like, oh, I got to pay Disney to do this service. I got to find this somewhere and put it all in one spot for you, so that it's like a one-stop shop, and hopefully it'd be worth your time, effort, and at some point money. Yeah. So I feel like that's a good thing. Let's go into, first of all, here, let's go to our shout outs for the week. Gina, shout outs.
Shout outs. A couple shout outs. Guys, we really do love these shout outs because they are really sincere. Like for those
I
of
just
you,
like it because it covers your face on the YouTube.
exactly. For those on Spotify, you're really missing out.
Yeah.
We want to give some shout outs. First, we want to give a shout out to Rachel McHugh, who is a friend of ours that we met when we were on the Disney Wish. And she is a travel agent, McHugh Magic. We will tag it down in the bottom of our YouTube video. But just a really awesome person we've stayed in touch with just from connecting on the Disney cruise. And just want to give her a shout out. She is awesome. We also want to give a shout out to a couple additional people on our socials. We said we reached 1,000 followers today, actually. And I want to give a shout out to Z23 Photography, who is someone that I have been interacting with on socials and literally was like going out of her way today to get us to that 1,000th follower, like reaching out, sharing our stuff. Also, I want to say mainly at Disney, and that is mainly like with the E in there after main and some underscores, but we'll tag them again down below if you're on YouTube. Another great one for sharing, promoting, encouraging. Sometimes it's not even about who's sharing it on their socials as much as people that are cheering us on and encouraging us. I love to do the same for people. Also, I want to tell you guys, there are some friends that we made and their names are Pat and Sam. And they're actually, I think they live in Belgium. Their vlogs are in Dutch. So, but really fun couple that I hope to be able to even meet up with in Disneyland Paris next year. We've already talked about that. But they do have closed captions. So I'd say give it a whirl if you don't mind reading closed captions. But we've just been really, really lucky. On that note, I apologize because I'm going to have to ask them this. If you pronounce the name of their handle, Test in the Magic, like TESTON, the Magic, or if it's Test on the Magic, I'm not sure which, but that's another small creator that we have come across on Instagram and TikTok that's just a great supporter. And that reminds me, because they let us know that they rated us on Spotify. So for those of you, follow us on our socials at BBT Magic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and then on YouTube and Spotify. If you guys want to like, subscribe, comment, and then give us a rating, a good one. If you don't like us, don't give us a rating. If you don't like us,
keep it to
leave that part out.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you think we're 5 stars like we think we are, we would love but we would love it if you would give us
You
a
get
chance.
half a star. It's gonna be like Star Search and the audience.
Yes.
Oh, you
got
got
really
one
dating
star.
ourselves, Star Search. But again, we can't say enough
That was
just
the
how much
thing back in
really,
the day. Star Search was the truth.
yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was
that's
America's
like
Got
how it is.
Talent.
Let's also mention our sponsor here, Theme Park Chuckle. You can go on themeparkchuckle.com, get you a Disney humor-based t-shirt or two, just much like this Let's Get Trashed classy t-shirt here, celebrating everybody's favorite Walt Disney World trash can and festival dining table. But go on themeparkchuckle.com to grab yourself a shirt. Thank you, Theme Park Chuckle.
Yeah. Speaking of trash cans and festivals, that's maybe my favorite quick service is the festivals.
Oh, the festivals are great. No, we could drop in things, I mean, like towards the end of this episode here, but it is easily like one of the things I look forward to most is like Food and Wine Festival. So that's another one. I'm sure we'll do an entire podcast about food and wine,
Flower and
especially
Garden.
during Food and Wine. We'll do something. Keep in mind, Gina and I will be traveling our trip. We leave as we record here. It's like the end of the next week from the recording date. We do this right now. So we're going to have some kind of cool things on social, some opportunities for people that may be visiting Walt Disney World from the May 16th to like May 20th, we'll say 21st, 23rd, whatever. I think we're there the 16th through the 22nd. 22nd. So we'll have some opportunities for you guys to get something if you can find us in the park. So we'll stay tuned to our socials. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you find out where we're going to be at. Please don't, if you find out where we are, come and do something mean to me because I don't like that. Like, don't come here like, I found Josh in the park and I pantsed him in front of everybody. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. Just saying, people are awful, and they're like, we found you on the interwebs. We're going to do something mean to you. No, just come out there and share the Disney magic with us. We'd love to do stuff. We'd love to make people smile. We're also going to be trying to do some more giveaways coming up, or just start giveaways. We haven't done any. And some lives. We really want to do some lives, too. Yeah, we're going to have some special guests. We know we've teased the fact of having some guests on the show. We're going to do that upcoming. We're going to actually have a guest or two in the next, I would say, within the next 5 or so episodes, you'll see us have somebody on the show.
Yeah.
So that'd be great.
exciting.
So thank you all for joining us this week. And please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.